Hello chess parents. In today's video, we're going to learn the movement for the knight. The knight has a complex, tricky movement that can be challenging to learn, but once learned, it's often many people's favorite piece. This is the knight right here. The knight obviously looks like a horse, and many people will call it a horse in kind of an informal setting or when they're just learning the rules. However, practiced chess players are always going to use the name knight in English. Let's take a moment and learn how the knight moves. We're actually going to learn a few different ways that the knight can move. I'm going to teach you 3 different ways, and you can stick with whatever works for you. I'm going to start with my favorite way to think about the knight's movement. We can move the knight 1 square like a rook, and then 1 square like a bishop. The rook moves in a cross shape, and the bishop moves like the letter X diagonally. You should already have learned those pieces. If not, you can watch the videos that came before this. But we can make one move like each piece to reach this square or this square if we start moving vertically in this position. We can do the same thing to move to the side to reach either of these 2 squares, 1 rook move and 1 bishop move. And we can do this moving backwards or to the left side over here. In total, on the center of the board, the knight can reach 8 different squares. So that's 1 rook move and 1 bishop move. The moves have to continue in the same direction, and you can never stop and make only one of the moves. You must always continue to the end with 1 rook move and 1 bishop move. A lot of chess teachers like to teach that the knight moves like the letter L. So you can draw the shape like this. You can obviously see the L shape in this position, and you can say that the knight moves 2 squares in one direction and then takes a turn and moves 1 square in the other direction to complete the shape of the letter L. You can use the same shape, if you rotate it, to reach the 8 squares that we showed a moment ago. Finally, some chess teachers, and if you have a certain kind of mind, maybe this works really well for you, some chess teachers like to teach that the knight can move to the nearest square that is not a rook move or a bishop move away. Just trying to get people to hone in on the knight's movement to reach these 8 squares. These are all very different ways to think about the knight's movement, but they're all entirely valid and they get you to the same square. So I like to think that the knight moves 1 square like a rook and 1 square like a bishop, but if you want to think about it in one of the other ways, that's wonderful. Go with that. The other thing that we should mention about the knight is the knight has one power that no other chess piece has. The knight is allowed to jump over other chess pieces. So if there was a chess piece on, for example, this square, the knight could still move past it to reach the 2 squares that are potential destinations on the other side. Note that when the knight does jump over a piece, it doesn't capture that piece. In the game checkers, we capture pieces that we jump over, but in chess, when the knight jumps over a piece, it does not capture that piece. It only captures the piece on the square that is its destination. So we're going to wrap up here with a puzzle. I find this really to be one of the more fun and challenging puzzles we can do here when we start out. We're going to try and capture all 8 of the black pawns using only 8 moves. If you really want to challenge yourself, pause the video and try to visualize a path for the knight to capture all of these pawns using only 8 moves. Our first capture would be right over here. From this square, we can leap over to this pawn. Notice that we did not capture this pawn right here in our path. We did jump over it using the knight's special ability, but we did not capture it. We can move down here now, back into the right, then up here towards the left, again up and towards the left. Then we can advance to get this pawn, and then we start moving towards the edge of the board, capturing this pawn and finishing with this pawn's capture over here on this square on the edge of the board. Hopefully you feel comfortable with the knight's movement now. If not, you can rewatch the video to try and cement these concepts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we hope to see you in our last 2 videos on the king's movement and the pawn's movement. Thank you so much.